Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host, Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. This week we're going to be talking about foggy windows, and we'd like to thank Salim Abbasi for liking and sharing the podcast. In ancient China, a lump of soil was used to analyze the amount of moisture in the air.
What does that mean?
So they would take a specific amount of dry soil, they'd weigh it, and then they would expose it to air in an area for a period of time, and then they would reweigh it, and that told them how much moisture was in the air. One of the first hygrometers was designed by Leonardo da Vinci in the 1400s, and it used a sponge to absorb moisture in the air. In 1783, the hair hygrometer was invented. It used human hair to move a needle as it expanded and contracted, and it expanded and contracted based on the amount of humidity in the air. And it was so reliable, it was still being used up to the 1960s.
Wow.
If you're in a cool or cold climate, in winter, foggy windows can be an indicator of a humidity problem in your home. When it's cold out, the glass in your windows cools off, and when the warm, humid air in your home comes in contact with the glass, it can form condensation. Warm air is going to hold much more water vapor than cold air, and when the glass or window frame cools off the air against it, it can't hold that moisture and it releases it on the surface. And that condensation buildup over time can damage wood window frames and sills. If you have an older home with single-pane windows, you're going to have more problems with condensation versus a double-pane or a triple-pane window. And believe it or not, if you have an energy-efficient home with tight construction, you can actually have a lot of problems with high humidity levels in the winter if you don't have mechanical ventilation or use a dehumidifier.
I don't believe it, JC.
If you have condensation on your windows, you should check your humidity level with a hygrometer, and you can pick one up at the hardware store or a home center. They're inexpensive, and it's a great tool to monitor the humidity level in your home. Some top-rated hygrometers are from Honeywell, Accurite, it's Acurite, Thermopro, it's Thermopro, and Govee, it's Govee. When we spoke to Airthings in the past, and Airthings is AIRTHINGS, their wave radon detector also monitors humidity levels, and they have a Wave Mini that monitors humidity levels and mold risk. The EPA says indoor air quality is a top environmental threat. Your indoor air should be fresh, clean, and have the proper humidity level.
Okay.
Depending on your climate, the EPA suggests keeping the indoor humidity level between 30 and 40% in winter. If you're in a cold climate, humidity levels above 40% can cause condensation on windows, and below 30%, it can cause respiratory infections and other health problems.
Tricky.
During summer, don't go above 55%. Higher levels can cause health problems from mold growth, dust mites, and it can increase some types of bacteria and viruses, and that can affect your health. Mayo Clinic says indoor humidity levels below 30% can cause dry skin, irritate nasal passages, and make your eyes itchy.
All sounds terrible.
The American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers, they're the ASHRAE, they recommend keeping summer humidity levels below 60%, and in winter, never allow the humidity level in your home to go below 25%. The Building Science Corporation found that humidity levels of 70% can cause serious damage to your home. In winter, warm air wants to move toward the cold air outside, and the moist air in your home wants to move toward the drier air outside. And if you have high humidity levels in your home, it can try to move through the building material, which can damage paint, it can peel wallpaper, it can damage wood flooring, drywall, plaster, studs and joists, and insulation behind your walls and in your attic. The National Wood Flooring Association recommends keeping indoor humidity levels between 30 and 50% year-round, and this is going to help ensure long-term performance of wood flooring and other wood products in your home. The Minnesota Department of Public Service says if you have double-pane windows and an indoor temperature of 70 degrees Fahrenheit, you should adjust the humidity level based on the outdoor temperature. They're saying if it's 20 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit outside, you should keep your indoor humidity level at 40% or below. If it's 10 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit outside, your indoor humidity level should be 35%. If it's 0 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit outside, your humidity level inside should be 30%. And that's going to prevent foggy windows.
Okay.
If you plan on replacing windows, they recommend windows with a U value of 0.35 or less because they're going to be less prone to condensation and icing. And you should check out our Windows episode. We have a lot of details on all the different things you should be looking for when you're replacing windows.
What are you titling this one?
You should adjust your humidity level so you don't get condensation on your windows.
Seems kind of long.
That's something like that. I'll probably shorten it.
What's causing high humidity levels in your home?
So when you're cooking, you're releasing a lot of moisture. If you're boiling water, natural gas and propane, while you're burning it, that actually releases water into the air. That was pretty wild. Doing dishes, taking a shower, if you overwater your house plants, that adds a lot of moisture to the air. Bringing in and storing firewood in your house, if you hang laundry on a drying rack or a clothesline inside your house, fish tanks. Moisture can also come into your home from your foundation walls or the flooring in your basement or a crawl space. And what's interesting is if you have a newly built home, you can have high humidity levels for a year or two after it's built as all the building material like wood, concrete, and drywall is drying out. It's wild, huh?
Yes. How can you reduce the indoor humidity level in your house?
The Home Ventilation Institute recommends if you have a bathroom exhaust fan, use it while you're taking a bath or a shower and leave it on for at least 20 minutes after you're done.
So when I was growing up at my parents' house, we didn't have a bathroom exhaust fan. And then when they redid the bathroom, 30 years ago,
right,
they finally put in a bathroom exhaust fan.
Yeah, smart.
Made a big difference.
And if you install an exhaust fan in your bathroom, make sure that you're venting it to the outside. Never vent it to a crawl space or an attic.
Right.
If you have a tight...
Because that's kind of defeating the purpose.
Right. If you have a tight, energy-efficient home and high humidity levels, you can install a continuous ventilation bathroom exhaust fan. And this is an easy way to regulate the humidity and improve your air quality. It has a low continuous speed that's always on, and then you turn it up to a higher speed while you're showering. And you can also install a bath exhaust fan with a humidity sensor. It'll turn on and off automatically depending on the humidity levels. Some top-rated bath exhaust fans come from Broan. It's B-R-O-A-N. Nutone. It's N-U-T-O-N-E. And Panasonic. When you're cooking, use your exhaust fan above the cooktop or range and leave it on for 10 to 15 minutes after you're done cooking. If you're in an older home that isn't tight and you're trying to increase the humidity level, don't use your bath exhaust fan or limit how long you use it. But I would still use the kitchen exhaust fan. It's going to remove pollutants that are created while you're cooking.
Right.
You can use a dehumidifier to reduce indoor humidity and a humidifier to increase it. The EPA recommends ventilation to improve indoor air quality and help control humidity levels. In cool weather, to reduce humidity, they suggest opening windows throughout the house for a few minutes a day, and that's going to allow in the drier outside air, and it's an inexpensive way to add ventilation and reduce your humidity level. If you plan on updating a forced air furnace, or if you have an airtight home, you can look into heat recovery ventilation and energy recovery ventilation systems. And that's going to bring in outside air. And we're going to be doing an upcoming episode on those in the future. Exciting, huh?
Yeah, thrilled.
We talked to Easy Breathe and Churnland in the past about crawl space and basement ventilation. Easy Breathe is just the letters E, Z, capital BREATHE. Churnland is TJERNLUND. With these basement and crawl space ventilation systems, it's going to reduce mold, mildew, allergens, it removes musty odors, improves the overall air quality while it helps control humidity. And from the ventilation systems that we've installed, it also helps reduce radon levels, which is a big problem in many homes.
Yep.
To reduce the moisture around your foundation wall or basement flooring, grade the soil away from your home, keep your gutters free of debris, and extend your downspouts 6 to 10 feet away from the foundation.
Where do you keep a hygrometer?
If you only have one, you can move it.
Why would you have more than one?
Well, it's kind of like a carbon monoxide detector. Have one on every level of your home.
All right,
but
I only have one.
Okay, so you can move it around. If you leave it for a few days in one part of the home, and you get a feel for your humidity level, because you could have just certain areas that have a condensation problem.
Do you bring it from room to room?
Yes, I would. I bring it around with me. But if you have a room next to maybe the bathroom where you shower, you might be having more of a condensation problem there, and it's kind of an isolated problem, and you can get a small room dehumidifier just to solve that problem. Or you might have a problem in your laundry room, for example, and depending on how your heating system is set up, you might have condensation on those windows, and to prevent damage to those windows, you can just put a dehumidifier there. If you have plants on a windowsill or below a window, that window might be getting condensation, and you would just move the plants. If you have a bay or a bow window that extends away from your home, they're generally colder than regular windows, and you may not be getting good air movement across the windows. So you can adjust vents to blow towards the window, or keep the window coverings open or adjusted for better airflow, because warm air flowing across the glass is going to help prevent condensation. Heavy window coverings can trap humid air next to the window, and that can cause condensation. Sometimes you can just raise or open the window covering a little to allow air movement, and that'll prevent condensation and damage to your windows. I spoke to Frost King. It's FROST, capital KING. They make window insulation shrink kits. This is a clear plastic sheet that you put over your window with double-faced tape, and then you shrink the plastic with a hairdryer, and it pulls tight so you don't have any wrinkles. You can see through it. They say a common problem with windows that are covered with cellular shades to keep the cold out in winter is they stop air movement, trapping humid air between the shade and the glass. And if enough moisture collects, it can cause mold to grow, moisture damage to wood windows, and corrode metal parts.
Interesting.
They recommend covering the entire window, shade and all, and that's going to help prevent condensation. It's going to increase the energy efficiency, especially on drafty windows. Once you cover your window, though, for winter, you're not going to be able to adjust the shade. So you need to think about that ahead of time and adjust it either, closed or partially open.
Right.
And then in spring, you'll remove the plastic. And this is what I used to put on my mom's bedroom windows in her condo every year. She had metal sliding windows that would fog up, and it would allow air to flow in over her bed.
We did a video there on this, right?
Yeah, this made a big difference for her. And then
didn't she poke a hole through it?
Yeah, every spring. Well, she used to poke. She used to want to look outside, and she would just press against it and constantly put holes in it. So some years I would put this up a couple of times for her. If you have a foggy car windshield in the winter, you should turn off the recirculation button, because you want to draw in the drier outside air, and that's going to reduce the humidity level in your car or your truck, which seems weird. You wouldn't think you'd want to draw in the cold outside air, but it's going to keep your windows from fogging up. You want to turn on the defroster, turn the heat on high, and turn the fan on high. Warm moving air makes it hard for water vapor to condense. And in many vehicles, when you turn on the defroster, the AC button is going to light up. You want to leave your air conditioner on. And if your air conditioner doesn't automatically come on, you want to turn it on. and that's going to remove moisture from the air. I think a lot of people get confused by that.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else to add?
Foggy windows can be a good indicator that your humidity levels are too high in your home. Pick up a hygrometer and you can monitor your levels all year. You want to keep them between...
From room to room.
Keep it from 30 to 50% and ventilate for better indoor air quality.
Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, CastBox, or your favorite podcast app.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our ebooks, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, books 1 through 12, soon book 13 on Amazon.
If you enjoyed it, please give us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow Cindy on Twitter @FixItCohost, and you can follow us on Instagram, Fix It Home Improvement.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.
Thank you.